Okay, 2 weeks since we last had a Bible study, but it was VBS was happening. And of course, that's kind of a nut house, but hey, it was a good one though. You can't really complain when you get the kids coming home and they're talking about Jesus and the things that he did on the cross. So hey, I will call it success. Having to know what the kids work and seeing them all, putting up for the openings and all that kind of fun stuff. But back, we're getting Matthew. We're going to get a little salty today, and talking in the old sea salt term of salty. Not going, but into the and the famous passage control here as the earth. We're beginning today. Into our passage and see what Matthew records for us to hear and to read, to see and to learn. Okay, so I'm going to draw your attention to as we go here. I highlighted some changes in the English Standard Version. Change from the English Standard Version that I'm translating. Now, this translation is based off of the work that Dr. did for his comment. So I'm going to go to some of those scholarships he did. So you have heard that you are the salt of the earth, and its taste, what good is it? But I'm not going to go too much into grammar because I don't want to get too technical that you're going to have to go and spend time learning Greek to be able to follow what I'm saying. But he picked some things that are within the Greek grammar that don't quite justify what we normally see in our translation. And there's actually some differences to the discussion. And that verbs are past verbs. They're things stuff happening to them rather than things that are doing something. And that instead of saying we are the salt, or the means by which the earth is salted. Talking to his disciples in this point. So he's telling his disciples, hey, you guys are the means by which the earth is going to be salted. Because he just picks up that the question is actually what's called the date worm, and spend a whole time discussing dative means, but let's just one of them fun Greek categories that has a lot of uses, and one of the uses is it describes the means by which something's going to happen. The salty word in this happens to kind of fit into that. So he's going to have along with them, and because it's going to match what is to come, I think, a little better than saying that we're salt. Salt, and that something else is greater than we are. But the means by which that salt is going to be into the earth. And salt, it actually can never lose its. So that goes back to that I have. So we have you are that which salts the earth, but if salt has lost taste, by means will it, the earth, he's actually going to say it refers to earth, not to salt, be salted. It is anything except to drown out and trampled under people's feet. We're going to that some of the stuff that you picked up with the salt, he's picking the same thing up with the light. You are that which gives light to the world. Cities cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. But on the end, that it gives light to all in the house. Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good work and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Okay. Last we got together, we talked about the Beatitudes, which Jesus blesses his disciples. It's just one blessing after another. Blessed are you. And now you're blessed, and you are. I place myself on you. I exchange myself for you. And it's going to come something. And he starts to get into in this passage. And this passage is going to form a framework now for some of the things that are going to be coming up in this talk that Jesus is giving to his disciples. I'm actually going to spend most talking in some generalities because we don't want to get too specific because it's specifically common. And Matthew's discourse. I'm picking apart the imagery too deeply unless we draw common. So. A two-part picture that is actually basically describing vocation. He is directing this to his disciples. One of them noted in this passage is you. A fun thing about Greek is with all of its different verb forms, you don't actually have to use the word you. That already has built into it that some you. Second person verb. Latin, Spanish, French, even I believe they even get into this too. You've seen that where you have that word form that already has the implicit you. Greek has that too. And so that gives that when we actually see them spell you, there's an emphasis happening here. And Jesus very you guys, my disciples, are the means going to salt the earth. And so Jesus is very much pointing to the disciples. Going, okay, I have made you my disciples, and parcel of this certain calling, vocation. If you the works of Gene V, he's really big on this vocation, and this is really something that's important. It's something that was really just picked up in the Reformation, and not so much that we discovered the idea. It was we got preconceived notions that let us see the actual beauty of vocation. That there's an intricate part of who we are. And she said, okay, this is an intricate part of your life in me. And there are these good things. There's salt and light. You will be impacting your neighbors through these. These are okay. Now, I want to make clear, and we'll cover this again at some later points. Vocation always for the benefit of your neighbor, for your benefit. There's always benefit of the people around you. This is how God is working in their life. This is how the things that they need in life. Well, include gospel. That includes charity all those works that need to be done so people can survive and thrive. And so, giving a vocation to his disciples. He said, "You guys will be the means for which you're salt. You're salt into the world. You're going to be all over the world. You're going to shine into the darkness." So, part of the disciples doing these things, and as Jesus is clear, the ultimate goal of these things is actually to bring glory to the Father, to bring people to God, to open their ears, to open their minds, and to do things that they need to have happen. Do works of mercy, that kind of good stuff. And to speak those words of mercy. They're just part and parcel of their being a disciple. Don't be a disciple without this come with just that simple. So, now, clear is being salty doesn't make the disciple. You aren't a disciple by, well, go out and salt the world. Of course, you live in land, you're probably going to make us mad at you because salt's going to kill our plants. It's not nice. So, okay, salt is good, and when salt is doing what salt is supposed to be, but the nakedness doesn't actually make the disciples. Actually, being the disciples that makes them salty. It is Jesus placed upon us, placed upon them, Him giving life, that giving them their life. Yeah, His life to His disciples that makes them salty. So it's from the mercy and grace that Jesus has already given to this wholesomeness. So Jesus makes the disciple, and with the disciple comes the salt. That's pretty much how it's going to work. So that means that which is not salt was never salt. Base, you can say, is that someone who rejects the vocation was never one brought in by the blessings. Rather, they're the ones who rejected the blessing. But when you get right down to that going to bring saltiness into the earth is the gospel. And rejecting the gospel, you're rejecting the salt. And if you've rejected the salt, you can be the means by which salt is there. Right? It may seem a little circuitous in the logic, but it's kind of how it just goes. Sorry, disciple, they are salty because they are a disciple. They are because they've been blessed with the gospel. So, salt comes from that gospel. That good stuff that is going to come from the gospel. It's not going to talk inner being. It's not anything that has anything intrinsically to do with us. It has everything to do with Jesus coming into our lives. And that's part and parcel of all Christian vocation. So we'll cover that a little bit more later, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time right there. So, we within the saltiness. And at the second, we have a parallel going on. We've got two subjects that are the same thing. Jesus Hebrew by birth. He's done it like a Hebrew. And having parallel thoughts, parallel stories that build on the same idea, that because all that's kind of how they think and they communicate. They've got salt and light together. They put some light and each other because we're actually describing basically the same thing. They're operating on each other. So we just draw the basic idea. Salt and light, they're very useful things. And while they preserve against corruption. History classes, you probably, maybe classes, science classes, you probably know that verbal time, the way we cured meat, the way meat from going bad, was to put into a lot of salt. Imagine the hypertension problems people must have had because of the food. If Don's fries are salty today, you by eating some of the preserved foods yesterday. So, salt, lots of salt. It was a good thing. Right? People are in the dark for a reason. Yet see visual people. Information through our eyes. When we let it that it scared us. When Jesus said, people build a lamp and then stick it under a basket, kind of a well done moment. What would be the point in lighting the lamp? And but let's just sit in the dark anyway. When they can't do anything because you can't see, and when you can't see, you get scared. I had kids, a room can get in the dark, and how much a coat can look like a monster coming out of a closet. So, they're both useful things. Change their surroundings, they change and they preserve, they run everything. They just can't help. So that is this idea of these good, useful items that can't just help but do what these good and useful items do. And where we're going to just leave this imagery. But because I'm going to pick this to death, and really, if we spend too much time delving into it, we're going to lose and hurt coming later, because what is coming later is built with this introduction. So, all right. Now, we've already on the fact that this idea actually, the idea of vocation coming into disciples because they are disciples. We need to spend a little bit of time to clear. The apostles, they all into doing some extraordinary works, and we have to be careful that we actually read all into those extraordinary works, because those were extraordinary works given to. Now, I mean, central type of extraordinary. Not everybody going to be called into healing. Not everybody is going to be called casting out demons. Not everybody is going to be called miracles. So, one thing we don't, when we hear extraordinary, we don't necessarily make that leap to supernatural. Because every who were called miracles, remember, there's a shift in the language here of what a disciple is. And I where Jesus and make disciples of the nation. So, as disciples, we're going to be, we are also to be salt. We are called to be light. That means, salting things. And we're called to do the supernatural kind of extraordinary. But not supposed to be extraordinary in the work that we do. Our vocations, we've got vocations. Students, workers, innovation. And they're ordinary in our eyes, but we're called to be extraordinary in those. We're called to be extraordinary parents, extraordinary workers, extraordinary students, striving to do our best, to go above and beyond what people ordinarily expect. I have these, and the Bible starts talking about being judged according to those deeds. Not that you saved on the basis of these deeds, but there it does talk about rewards. So you know that, and also can't ignore the fact that these occasions are in service to our neighbors and so up. And so it's going to see as ordinary isn't good enough. And so it's called to go above and beyond and be extraordinary in our patience. Are we going to see it all the time? No. But that's the purpose of the Lord's Supper, the purpose of confession, to admit that we aren't and to receive the forgiveness that we need. But that does not working and striving to be the extraordinary person vocation. Because we're working for the glory of the Father, but we are working for the benefit of our people around us. And as part of the idea of salting the earth, that is part of being light into the world, it's for the benefit of us. So it's for the benefit of the others. The light is for the benefit of the people around the light. So we want our excel in this. And Jesus really is going to put some things up here. The following passage really is going to help bring, I should say, the gist. Because I remember, right, this whole part is leading into what it means to, be a disciple, with how the books are going to work. So, those are coming out as Jesus addresses a question, so what does this mean concerning, well, the Old Testament? Jesus, I don't know if he actually got somebody who asked this question or whatnot, but it seems really is a question. And then by anticipating a question, he had a question dealing with, okay, so what does this mean to be salty? The earth is salted and light comes into the world. So, Jesus goes, do you think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets? I have not abolished them, but to fulfill them. Bill, okay? That's big. So, as we're reading the rest of it. Pray to you until pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from law until all is accomplished. Whoever relaxes one of the least of the commandments and teaches to do the same will be least in the kingdom of heaven. The blesses them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For as your righteousness exceeds that of scribes and Pharisees, you will enter the kingdom. Okay. The eschatological nature of Matthew with the idea of days running through it makes sense to Jesus and to this place. So what about all the prophets? What about all the law? Are they stopped? Because we get that we're getting last day things happening now. You're great to the world. And really clarifying that. He basically, and he didn't come out and say this, but it is implied, with particularly that word to fulfill. Right? I said, remember that God's dealing with Israel and with the world was incomplete because looking forward to God's embrace. He's coming out, doing work, doing his thing, and setting things up to as Jesus is that embrace. The Old Testament is fighting its fulfillment. And so Jesus has a relationship with the Old Testament, the fulfillment. Okay, it's pure and simple as that. He's the fulfillment. And now this is going to mean we're going to change how we interact with the Old Testament. It's not void. We don't that direction. It's not abolished. It's fulfillment and understand it as leading. So we really should be seeing the cross. We should be seeing Jesus. We should be seeing his compassion, his work, being of the Old Testament. So, yeah, contrary to what another pastor tweeted earlier this week, it is to see the cross in the Old Testament all throughout. So Jesus did this, and he started talking about it. And he said, look, just because I am the fulfillment, a lick of it is passing away. So we could see the Old Testament. There's we could glean from it. And we shouldn't ignore it. Truth. It is truth pointing us to Jesus. It has in our lives. We can God's desire for our life from the Old Testament. We Old Testament. See the cross in the Old Testament. Looking through the cross, we can actually start to see that the laws of God. And we can see that word of promise that God is giving in the gospel in the Old Testament. So people the Old Testament actually brings a lot of clarity to the Old Testament because of the extent of the law. In fact, it's going to be reading on in this. We're going to find in Jesus the law is amplified. And Jesus introduced that with this whole thing, and let righteousness keep that out of the Pharisees. And yeah, that's not going to actually is going to work. Now, of course, we come also that righteousness which exceeds that of the Pharisees is not our own righteousness, but that of Jesus' righteousness. But that's a part of the great text of Matthew. That's what Jesus is getting into this talk of the whole. You had said kind of stuff who are these things were the praise. And we're going to do a lot of intensification, understanding of the commandments, like with the idea of adultery. Parents were going, well, I haven't slept with any other women. And Jesus, did you think of that woman? You did. you committed adultery. So we have a greater clarity. He actually is the bar. I didn't say that the Pharisees in their to fulfill law actually easy. They try to make it easier to fulfill the law. It's requirements. It of the severity. And what we see through Jesus, through his cross, is the severity of the law. He can help us see the severity of the law in the fact that Jesus died and a horrific death by his Father. And God, why have you forsaken me? Why have me of your presence? Why have you turned your face away from me? We the law not intensely severe limit that. I to say that the law isn't as severe as it is, and this is where Jesus is going. If you try to minimize the least of these, that's what if you try to make them less than what they are, you're robbing people. People are robbing other people of what they need to hear. They need severity of the law. They need to hear that the law brings death. And breaking that law is dangerous. I know the law, we endanger our own faith. Because the law is going to strip us of our need for the gospel. And what I said, if we start thinking that, oh, we're okay, that I'm doing like just need to fill a little gaps, and then, well, those gaps get smaller. Not awesome. We faith in ourselves, and we reject the gospel because we don't believe we need the gospel. So, Jesus not to disregard the law, and part of the warning us to disregard the law is for the sake of the cure. Remember, we're going into the whole thing that talking about with the saltiness and the lightness. That so the news is the context of talking about for the benefit of the people around. And if you ignore the law, you're hurting those folks around you, and you're hurting yourself because you need to hear the law as much as people around you need to hear the law. Because Mr. Adam's still hanging around, and Mr. Old Adam needs to be killed. So don't use the law. Minimize the law at your own harm, at the harm of the people around you. And it's going to be out of time. If you have any questions, you don't hesitate to ask. Again, but remember, this is an interactive Bible study. I don't I'm throwing stuff at you. So I do have questions. Don't hesitate to ask them. Because I understand. With that, we'll wrap, and God bless.